We're joined by Austin Bashi. Austin, thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
Doing good, man. Thank you. How about yourself?
Doing very well. So people who don't know, Austin, you're considered probably the top UFC prospect in the United States right now. Um, and we have some, I'm going to give some background because we have some exciting news that you just shared on your Instagram the other day. But just to give some background, you started your career in Extreme Fighting Championship, became the two-time bantamweight champ in Lights Out Fighting. Now, pleased to say that you are going to be on Dana White's Contender Series on September 3rd. Just sort of give us your reaction to that and how excited you are.
I'm very excited. This is kind of what I've been working for my whole entire life. And finally, now after 12 fights, I'm happy to be getting this opportunity. Since I was a kid, it was always a goal and dream of mine to be a UFC champion, and feel like it all starts now.
Yeah, UFC's had its eye on you for a while, from my understanding. Now you wanted to, did you were you trying to bypass the Contender Series? Were you hoping to just go straight into it, or is this something that you wanted to, is this an avenue that you wanted to take to prove yourself?
Obviously, it would be pretty nice to kind of just get straight into the UFC, but doesn't matter. I'm excited for Contender Series as well. My main thing was I just wanted a lot of experience in the regional scene and fight
Yeah.
all these tough guys. So that way, when I am in the UFC or the Contender Series, I've seen it all already. So that was my main thing: getting good experience and making sure I have tough fights before I even join the league.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question because I know that you kind of wanted to like grind it out and cut your teeth a little bit on the regional scene. Why is it now? You're 22 years old. Why is now the right time for you to go into the UFC as opposed to 2 years ago when people started to take notice of you?
Right. Now I feel like I was still young 2 years ago. I was only 20, which I am still very young right now. I'm only 22, but I fought some tough guys and kind of gave me a real good look at where I was and feel like I could compete with the best in the world right now. And my thing was, if I didn't feel like I could be a champion right now, I'm not going to take this opportunity. But at this place I am right now, I really do feel like I could be a UFC champion.
I mean, so how long do you think that would take you? Because I mean, we obviously have like Raul Rosas Jr. is in the UFC right now. He went to the Dana White Contender Series at 17 years old. He's 19. He's fighting this weekend. He's had a little bit of an up and down start coming off of a win. Um, just in terms of like age, because age is such a factor in MMA, right? Like most UFC fighters, they don't get into the sport until their late 20s, oftentimes, sometimes early 30s. What is it about you that you think that you have what it takes to compete at the highest level in the UFC at such a young age?
I feel like it's really comes down to just my work ethic, my discipline, and the grind I have. I'm at it every single day, 8 to 10 hours a day, and it's not that I just go hard when I'm in camp. I'm going all year round, and I'm not really doing all this other partying stuff that other people are doing. This is literally all I do every single day, and I feel like I have what it takes to just compete with the best and be a world champion.
Do you at that age, you mentioned partying. I mean, I was partying a little bit, but I was also, you want to hang out with your friends when you're 22 years old. There's a lot of distractions. Have you found it that you have to hang out with your friends less? Are you still able to do keep a small circle? Like, what is it that you're doing to sort of limit the distractions in your life right now?
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Feel like they have to have people feel like they have to have a life outside of fighting, but for me, really just all fighting. And when I do have a little free time, I'm with my family and my close friends, the people that I could keep tight with me in a tight circle, but I don't really hang out with too many people outside of the gym.
What do you like to do in your free time? Do you like to go see movies? Do you do you go to the bowling alley? Like, what do you like to do in your
Uh,
free time?
my free time, I love to eat, man. I love
Yeah.
going to restaurants.
Okay. Nice. Nice. What's your favorite restaurant? Type of food?
They're steakhouses.
Nice. That's the way to go. Um, sorry, okay. So there's some confusion here. Are you going to be fighting at bantamweight or featherweight? What weight class are you going to be fighting at?
So yeah, I made the move up to featherweight.
Okay.
And that was another thing about me being young. When I was young, it was a little bit easier to make 35. As I grew, as I got older, I put on a lot of muscle, put on a lot of mass, and those last 5, 6 fights at 35 were pretty tough to make that way. So me and my coaches made the decision to move up to 45, and it was a lot better cut. This one, I wasn't so drained going into the fight. I felt a lot better.
Eating at all those steakhouses too, probably put on a little put a little muscle on.
Probably that did something with it.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on when people bring up people like Sage Northcutt who were rushed to the UFC early? Obviously, he was very young when he was rushed in, and they felt like he just wasn't ready. And now he's obviously revitalized his career and won championship. But what are your thoughts when you hear people saying that? Do you feel like everybody's a little bit different, or do you feel like there's good reason for that sort of criticism? What are your thoughts on that?
Everyone is different, yeah. And that was the thing for me when I was like 5-0, 6-0, or even like 7-0. People were always telling me like, "You got to go to the UFC, got to go to the UFC." But I knew I wasn't ready at that time, and that's why I had another 5 fights in me because I wanted to make sure I had that experience going into this. And
Yeah.
I feel like some people are just rushed. Some people are so focused on just getting there, but they can't stay there. For me, it's about getting there, staying there, and being the best.
What are your thoughts on Raul Rosas Jr.? He's 19 years old. Is that, obviously he's a bantamweight, you'd be at featherweight. Is that something that you'd be interested in to prove who's like the best young fighter in the UFC when you get there?
Yeah, for sure. He's it's pretty sweet seeing him at a young age in the UFC, and it would be nice to show them. Yep.
I know that you're older than him, but like, did that inspire you in any way when he was so young? Did that like make you feel like, okay, if he can do it, I can too?
I don't really try to compare myself to no one.
Okay.
Everyone kind of has their own little path, but
Yeah.
no, didn't really look at it that way.
I love that. What are your thoughts on the featherweight division right now? Since that's the division you're going to be competing in, Ilya Topuria is the champion. He knocked out Alexander Volkanovski. What are your thoughts at the state of featherweight? Do you think that they should do Holloway versus Topuria? Like, just give me your overall take on it.
That featherweight division is pretty stacked, especially with Max Holloway winning that last fight like that. I do like that fight, Ilya versus Max.
Who do you got in that fight if they do square up?
I got Ilya on that one.
Yeah, Ilya.
Yeah,
And Max Holloway, he's the hot ticket right now. Everybody loves Max Holloway after that knockout. So, a lot of people think that he would give Ilya a hard time.
for
Um,
sure. Yeah, yeah.
how do you feel like you stack up against those guys? I know it's very early. It's obviously not totally fair because you're probably going to be 4 or 5 fights away. But how do you feel like you would stack up if you were to climb the ranks and get up there into a ranked fight for a title?
Yeah, that's so like you're saying, I don't even have a UFC fight yet. So
Yeah.
I can't really compare myself right now to those guys. As I get through those ranks and keep fighting tougher competition, and moving up those ranks, that's when I'll start comparing myself to those guys. But those guys are pretty experienced in the UFC right now, so can't be comparing myself to them just yet.
Fair enough. Is there a dream fight that you have? Like, is there somebody that like is, you're a young guy. You've got to think about these moments. Is there a dream fight that you've thought about all your life that you really want?
It was honestly anyone in that top before it was bantamweight, and
Right.
Sean O'Malley was for sure one of them. And to be fighting his teammate is pretty excited about that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. So I guess this is what I would ask you out. Let's end it here. Where do you're obviously fighting at the Contender Series on September 3rd. Where do you want to see yourself 1 year from today?
1 year today, I want to see myself in that top 15 rank in the UFC.
Right. You think,
That's
and
where
you
I
think
see
you could,
myself being.
you think you could get there in 1 year?
Think I could, I like being pretty active, so getting about 3, 4 fights a year is ideal. And I feel like with 3 good fights in the UFC, you could place yourself up there.
Yeah, so you're obviously wrestling. How's your striking coming along, by the way? Because I know that you've been really working on that. How's that going?
Striking is going good. I've been honestly working my striking and grappling the same amount of time. Been doing that for 14 years. I just haven't been I just haven't showed my striking yet in these fights. Is because I don't really need to right now.
Yeah,
But once someone could stop the wrestling a lot, that's when you'll really start seeing my striking. People probably don't think I have striking because I haven't used it yet, but once I need to use it, everyone will start knowing about it.
Love that, man. Well, I'm super excited. September 3rd, Dana White's Contender Series. I'd like to catch up with you again the closer you get. But for the next few months, good luck. And yeah, man, I'll be rooting for you, okay?
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.